If there's anything we know that drives Donald Trump absolutely crazy, it is him losing in the ratings. I swear, I think that Donald Trump losing in the ratings drives him even crazier than getting convicted of serious crimes. I know it's weird, but honestly, I do believe that. And yesterday, we found out that Vice President Harris absolutely smoked Donald Trump in the ratings during her interview with Fox host Brett Baier. Kamala Harris got 7.1 million viewers during her appearance with Brett Baier. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, during his staged town hall with Harris Faulkner on Fox, received just 3 million viewers. In fact, if you add up both Donald Trump's fake town hall yesterday and Donald Trump's fake town hall in September with Hannity, still, he did not beat Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris got more views than him in that one day than those two events that Trump did combined. Donald Trump is now freaking out, spreading all of these conspiracy theories about Vice President Harris's TV appearances. He is absolutely losing his mind. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris was on a blitz through Wisconsin, putting in the actual work. I mean, check out this footage right here of that crowd in Green Bay, Wisconsin last night. That room was absolutely electric. My name is Brett Meiselas, here with the MeidasTouch Network. I'm going to guide you through everything that went down. First, I need you to hit subscribe and help us get to 3.5 million subscribers. Let's dig right in. In recent weeks, Donald Trump has refused to debate Vice President Harris again, canceled an interview with 60 Minutes, canceled an interview with NBC, canceled an interview with CNBC. You seeing a pattern? Canceled an interview with the Detroit News, canceled an appearance at an event in Georgia, canceled an appearance at an event in Pennsylvania, and refused to release his medical records. What Donald Trump has been doing, however, is going on his social media app and freaking out, throwing absolute tantrums every single day, and the last 24 hours has been no different. Donald Trump, in light of Vice President Harris absolutely blowing past him in the ratings during her interview with Brett Baier, took to his social media app and wrote the following: 60 Minutes should be immediately taken off the air. Election interference. CBS should lose its license. This is the biggest scandal in broadcast history. Kamala should be investigated and forced off the campaign, and Joe Biden should be allowed to take his rightful place. He now wants Joe Biden back in the race, and he wants to prosecute Kamala Harris because she went on 60 Minutes and he didn't. I mean, how pathetic is this guy? But pathetic, but also dangerous. I'll show you why in just a second. Here's another message he sent. Why won't 60 Minutes release the fraudulent tapes of Lion Kamala's interview with them? Could it be because it was a complete and total disaster, or that they created many new additional answers for her, not just the one where she was so embarrassingly caught? Blah, 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 blah. Release the tapes for the good of America. We could do it the nice way or the hard way. And this guy is utterly unhinged, and he tries to create scandals out of whole cloth. He just tries to fabricate things. He lies all the time. He's just a liar. And he's mad because 60 Minutes didn't just run raw, unedited footage of an interview, but actually made sure that it fit in the confines of a TV show like it's been done since the beginning of time. I mean, this is utterly deranged. And here's where I say it gets dangerous, because here's Donald Trump reposting Nathan Symington. Nathan Symington is the commissioner of the FCC who Donald Trump appointed. And he is taking this Fox News conspiracy story, which is amplifying Donald Trump's lies, and saying, interesting, big if true, we'll look into it. This shows you an example how Donald Trump will weaponize the government if he were to take power again. And this is why he must be kept away from the Oval Office at all costs. This is the kind of stuff you see in Russia and other authoritarian countries. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and Fox were doing the exact thing that he was accusing Vice President Kamala Harris of. During Donald Trump's event, which, by the way, got lower ratings than Kamala Harris. Did I mention that yet? Let me mention it again. It got lower ratings than Vice President Kamala Harris. They did this all-women town hall, and it ended up being packed with Donald Trump's own supporters and people who were high up in the Republican Party, in Republican Party groups in Georgia. I mean, they got busted. This is exactly what they accuse Vice President Harris of when she has actual legitimate events, and everything that Donald Trump participates in is utterly staged. Donald Trump still ranting and raving like a crazy person, because he is a crazy person, on his social media app, writing, why does Suzanne Scott of Fox News keep putting on third-rate talking heads like Jessica Tarlov, Richard Fowler, Patrick Murphy, Something Wolf, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and other radical left lunatics, blah, blah, blah. The reason I want to read this one is, first off, Fox does all this propaganda for him, and he still yells at them. But more importantly, I want you to see that he is calling people here radical left lunatics. Radical left lunatics is the phrase that he used on Fox multiple times, you know, the one that Brett Baier refused to show, where he said he wanted to send the military after radical left lunatics. What you realize in Donald Trump's statements here is that by radical left lunatics, he means anybody who disagrees with him. And speaking of Brett Baier and Fox and Vice President Harris's interview, you all know by now that Brett Baier played this deceptively edited clip as Vice President Harris brought up the fact that Donald Trump has been going around saying on Fox's own network and elsewhere that he wants to take on the, quote, enemy within. Brett Baier ended up playing a different clip. Last night, he actually apologized for that moment. Watch this.
I did make a mistake, and I want to say that I did make a mistake. When I called for a soundbite, I was expecting a piece of the enemy from within, from Maria Bartiromo's interview, to be tied to the piece from your town hall, Harris, where you asked the former president about the enemy from within. It just had the piece about the town hall, and just take a listen to what I meant to roll.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within. Not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Yeah, I'm sure it was just an oversight, Brett Baier. I'm sure it was just one big misunderstanding. Meanwhile, I want to show you this comparison because we've been showing you these clips from the Univision town hall with Donald Trump, where he got a awful response from the crowd, where they were like rolling their eyes at him and rolling their heads back and had no idea what the heck he was saying. They were just so repulsed and disgusted. So I want to show you this comparison, Trump versus Harris town hall reactions at the Univision town hall. Watch this.
Peacefully and patriotically. Nothing done wrong at all. Nothing done wrong. But that was a day of love.
I started my career as a prosecutor. And when I worked doing that job of my goal of keeping people safe, I never asked a witness or a victim of crime, are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? The only question I ever asked is, are you okay?
Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there.
Yeah, I think that basically tells you everything you need to know. By the way, a lot of the corporate media now is beginning to finally pick up on what we've been reporting here for years, that Donald Trump is cognitively declining before our eyes. The Boston Globe is out with a new op-ed that says Trump's decline is too dangerous to ignore. We can see the decline in the former president's ability to hold a train of thought, speak coherently, or demonstrate a command of the English language, to say nothing of policy. So why are Republicans and the press holding Trump to a different standard than Biden? They say his diminishing cognitive ability can't be ignored. We can see reality with our own eyes. But it's not just the Boston Globe. This in Forbes. Trump's unwieldy speeches raise questions about his mental acuity. Here we have in the LA Times column, I'm also sick of discussing Trump's madness, but we have to. And this was a particularly brutal part of that article where they write, Donald Trump's cognitive decline has a soundtrack. It includes the Village People's YMCA, Guns N' Roses' November Rain, and Elvis Presley's An American Trilogy. Don't try to find a theme among the musical numbers. There isn't one. Ouch. This from the New Republic. Finally, Trump's alarming mental decline has become a big media story. As new developments focus attention on Trump's derangement, a shrewd media observer dissects whether the press is finally treating his deteriorating mental state as a major news event. By the way, this was Donald Trump yesterday in the Bronx. I'm sorry to show you this photo. If you've eaten already, I'm sorry if your food's coming up. I know that was a bit of a jump scare. Let's move on. Let's move on right now to Vice President Kamala Harris taking on MAGA hecklers at her event in Wisconsin. This was earlier in the day yesterday. This was a brilliant moment where these Trumpers in the crowd tried to interrupt her. Watch how she swatted them down.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
And the vice president had a bunch of surrogates on the trail as well around the country. Former President Bill Clinton was in North Carolina, and he was speaking about Donald Trump's declining mental acuity. Watch.
I don't know how many more elections I'll be involved with, and I'm too old to gild the lily. Heck, I'm only 2 months younger than Donald Trump. But good news for you is I will not spend 30 minutes swaying back and forth to you. I've played enough music, I will not clap off beat. Nor will I pretend to be a conductor. Because we got a race to win. And we have to win it. I've been doing this a long, long time, and I can honestly say that this time I am not here running for anything anymore except for my grandchildren's future.
Governor Tim Walz was speaking in North Carolina as well about being a gun owner. Watch this.
For women to make their own health care decisions. The freedom to drink clean water and breathe clean air. Those are the things. And I say this as a teacher and as a parent. The freedom to send your little ones to school in their best clothes so that they can go learn and be kids and not be shot dead in their classroom with fire. I'm taking nothing on this. I'm a veteran. I'm a hunter. I went pheasant hunting last weekend. I own firearms. Kamala Harris owns firearms. This might be I don't know, President Clinton, this might be the first time that both Democrats on the ticket are gun owners right now. And it might also be the first time that the guy on the other side can't pass a background check because he has felonies.
Speaking of North Carolina, we are still awaiting some hard data, but anecdotally, we have heard that turnout was through the roof. Here's a photo that we saw online posted by somebody named Tom Sullivan. They say Asheville, North Carolina, have not stood in a line like this to vote since Obama 2008, and you see the line wrapped around the block. And we are getting really incredible voter data now, kind of all over the country in these early ballot states. What I want you to do also is check out this interview that my brother Ben did with Simon Rosenberg and Tom Bonnier, where they go over some of the early voting data. It's truly incredible. We also did a write-up of it on MeidasPlus.com that you could check out, so be sure to check that out. Here's some more data right here. Detroit reported a 41% absentee ballot return rate as of October 15th. That's compared with a 26% return rate during the same period in 2020. And by October 17th, yesterday, it's up to 47%. Wow, wow, wow. By the way, that's running 8% ahead of the statewide average. That bodes very well for Vice President Harris and Democrats in the state. In Pennsylvania, we see the Democrats continuing to build on their firewall numbers. We see of the mail and absentee ballots that have been returned, 65% of them have been Democratic, 25.9% have been Republican, and 9.1% have been other. That also doesn't tell you if any of those Republican ballots are people crossing party lines to vote for Vice President Harris and who those others are voting for. I would suspect Vice President Kamala Harris. Vice President Harris in Green Bay, Wisconsin, was speaking about Donald Trump recently during that Univision town hall, calling January 6th a day of love. Watch what she had to say.
On that point, last night you may have seen that I went on Fox News. Meanwhile, Donald Trump joined a Univision town hall yesterday where a voter asked him about January 6th. Okay, now we here know January 6th was a tragic day for our country. It was a day of terrible violence with attacks on law enforcement. 140 law enforcement officers were injured that day. Law enforcement officers were killed that day. And what did Donald Trump say last night about January 6th? He called it, quote, a day of love. And we are all clear. The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting. Exhausted. Enough. Enough. We are ready to turn the page. Turn the page.
People are so tired of his gaslighting. I love that she is calling it out. One of the things I also love that she's doing, something she did in Green Bay last night as well, is she's now almost like a MeidasTouch video. She's playing clips of Trump's rallies and commenting on them. So she's played this clip about Donald Trump's threat to reproductive freedom, and you got to watch this.
He refuses continuously to acknowledge the harm he has caused. See for yourself. Let's roll a clip.
I will protect women at a level never seen before. You will be protected, and I will be your protector. You will no longer be thinking about abortion.
Everybody wanted it, and I did it.
Because for 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
And so the women thing, I did a great thing long term, and I think they'll understand on the Roe v. Wade. I did a great thing. I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't
I'm the
hear that
father
every
of.
day.
I'm the father of IVF.
Oh. Okay. The courts will take care of that. Let's take care of November.
That's so brilliant right there. Straight out of the Meidas playbook. I absolutely love it. And, I want to draw attention to this because I haven't seen this talked about anywhere, quite frankly, but it seems incredibly important, and I don't know why more people aren't speaking about this. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said under oath yesterday that Russia is funding Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson, two of the biggest influencers on the right wing.
Hugely amplified by Russian propaganda. And once Ukraine was invaded, we saw a lot of those channels become pro-Putin propaganda channels. And as I said, we've recently seen that RT is currently funding bloggers and other YouTube personalities of the right, such as Jordan Peterson, other names that are well known, and Tucker Carlson as well, in order to amplify messages that are destabilizing democracies.
I have a feeling we're just at the tip of the iceberg with these Russian connections to these MAGA influencers, but I'm happy that we are gradually finding it out now. But here's the thing, that's why we all need to remain so vigilant about everything, about all the information that is coming in, or should I say the disinformation and lies, because we never know where it is coming from. I don't want to go out with bad news, so let me go with this clip that I absolutely love. This was posted by Don Lemon. Here was a 100-year-old Kamala Harris supporter going strong for Vice President Harris and speaking about Donald Trump's mental decline. A 100-year-old criticizing Donald Trump for his mental decline. Watch this.
I like this. Think she's gonna win?
I was just saying that I would die if she didn't.
She's 100.
Nice.
You believe that?
You're what?
She's 100.
Wait, oh my, are you kidding me?
She's almost 101 in 3 months.
What's the secret?
I won't tell you.
What's your name?
Anne. What do you do?
I'm a journalist. I like this. Think she's gonna win?
I was just saying that I would die if she didn't. I was very depressed before she came on the scene, and then my spirits lifted, but I'm not sure. Maybe because he's cracking up. Trump is cracking up. Yeah.
He said the same thing. Have you heard the crazy? Have you seen the crazy shit he's doing?
Yes, I nearly freaked out. Now he's really falling apart.
Yeah. And nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the latest, folks. Donald Trump still going through things after getting absolutely trounced in the ratings by Vice President Kamala Harris. Now's the time, everybody. Got to get out. Vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early, vote now. If you're able to register to vote and you're not registered, register to vote. If you're able to get all your pro-democracy friends registered to vote, make sure you do that. Now is the time to hit the gas. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3.5 million subscribers, and we can't get there without you. Also, go ahead and add the MeidasTouch podcast on audio. Leave a 5-star review as well. That really helps. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.